Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a rendition of the CB Sports Show. Surprising here with Connor, giving you a quick show today. Just kind of talking about some points we've had and some thoughts over the last few days. I'm going to talk about our top 5 NFL rankings we dropped just a couple days ago, and then decide who we believe wide receiver university is. I've had this thought over the last not even just a few days, last for a while, just listening to other people's opinions. So I thought we'd talk about it, kind of give our 2 cents, and then obviously talk about top 5. Just something super quick today, obviously. But to start, we'll start with our top 5. So me and Connor dropped our top 5 Tuesday, inaugural top 5 Tuesday. On Tuesday, just thinking, not really exactly power rankings of the NFL, but like a top 5. These are the top 5 teams in the NFL. Because there's a difference between normal rankings and power rankings. Power rankings based off your last week, normal rankings, accumulation of the whole season. I'll kind of start. Me and Connor, our first 3 are the same. We have the Patriots, then the Rams, then the Seahawks, and for me, at least I can say, the Patriots one's easy. Obviously, only a 2-loss team. Drake May leading the MVP race. Stephon Diggs looked really good, and when everyone thought he wasn't going to be with New England, Trayvon Henderson's been a breakout rookie. That defense has looked good. I thought Will Campbell looked good all year. That's a team that's fought for hard wins, so I think it's pretty hard not to give them the number 1 slot right now, especially where some other teams are. The number 2, I have the Rams. I would have them at number 1. Have they not dropped the game to Carolina this last week? I think that was a must-win game, especially where this race is so close. You still have the Seahawks right on your tail, and if you do drop to the wild card, now the Panthers have that head-to-head over you if they start winning games and you start losing games. At this point in the NFC, those are games you have to win. And I think the Rams are still a great team. I think Matthew Stafford's still a phenomenal quarterback for where he is right now. Devontae Adams has had a great season. Puka Nacua, Blake Corum has had a great year. Kyron Williams, all props to this Rams team. Great. Just a phenomenal year, but I think the eye test, and I'm not just going off the eye test, but I think the eye test definitely hurts looking at this Rams-Panthers game. And that was a must-win game for me, especially with the way you've been beating some teams. I think you should have handled the Panthers pretty easily, and then dropping to them sucks. And then number 3, where me and Connor have the same, is the Seahawks. The only reason they're not above more is because the Rams have that head-to-head over them. The Rams beat the Bucks. The Seahawks dropped to the Bucks. They've played such great football all year long. There were so many reports to start the year that the Seahawks were going last in the NFC West. They were going to finish barely over 500, barely under. They weren't even a wild card team. And they've looked like one of the greatest teams in the NFL. I think that's the best defense in the NFL, without question. Sam Darnold, everyone was doubting him once again, and he showed out. Besides a couple games, K9, Zach Charbonnet, been a great 1-2 punch at running back, and then JSN, man, holy cow! A historical year JSN is having. I don't know what kind of magic Cooper Kupp brings to that locker room, to that wide receiver room, but he sprinkled it in Seattle, and it's working. JSN is just put up number after number, week in, week out. Jackson Smith, the Jig Blade, is going to have a big game. And I think the addition of Gray Zabel on the offensive line as a guard, great. That was a great overall pick. I think Ben McDonald, a head coach, that was an underrated hire. I think that was a hire that was swept under the rug when it happened, especially where
He's been so good.
He's been so good with that team. There's so much credit to the Seahawks team, especially where everyone had them to start the year. Connor will send me videos days of everyone just saying the Seahawks are going last in the division, or they're barely making the playoffs, and then they just do what they've had. I think they've got to be able to win these big games. Obviously, the Rams, the Bucks, those 2 losses suck. Sam's 4 picks in that Rams game don't help, especially when you still held close. That just shows you how good this Seahawks team is on all sides of the ball. All credit to that team. And this is where we and Connor, I think this is where we're different. No, I think we're same on the first
The
four.
same in four.
We're same on four.
Yeah.
Yep. So the four we have the Chicago Bears, and for me, I thought this Bears team showed they were very vulnerable. Um, in some of the last few weeks playing some teams, and I was like, their record does not show what the team they are. But man, they've proved me wrong. Get a huge win against the Eagles, Thanksgiving weekend, and then just continue to win. I mean, Caleb Williams has looked like a different quarterback this year. I think that Ben Johnson is using this Chicago Bears team to what they should be used to. Um, I mean, you have a great wide receiver room. I think Romo Dunze. I mean, you didn't hear much last year. He was still a first round pick. I thought he's put up a good season. And the defense I think has played well. This Bears team is a team you could see make some noise in the playoffs. But man, what a tough NFC conference we have. When you're talking about all these teams, three of our top four are in the NFC. So I mean, that's a dogfight. I think the AFC is the same way. Um, and then to round it off, number five, this is where me and Connor are different. I have the Denver Broncos. I'm not sold on that team. I'm not. But at the end of the day, they're 10-2. They're finding ways to win games. Yeah, sure, it's against the Jets, everything, but I mean, credit to them. Their defense has held them in a lot of games. They have some good wins. That Cowboys win looks really good. The Texans win looks good. The Chiefs win always will look good. They should only have one loss. They really should have beat the Chargers, but I mean, their defense just collapsed in that fourth quarter. But I mean, even in this Commanders game, it's their defense that won the game. In the final going. So just all credit to that Broncos team. They're finding ways to win the games. I think their luck runs out sooner rather than later. Especially to where getting into December months into January, everyone's just so tired that I mean that's where you see what football team is going to make a run in the playoffs is in these months. So, um, I mean for the Broncos' sake, hopefully not, but I think their luck steamrolls out here, and I mean, that rounds out my top five. So Connor, if you want to give us your breakdown.
Yeah, my breakdown's going to be a little bit quicker just because you kind of went through and we have a similar rankings. But I think the Patriots are number one right now because I think that have looked like the best team in football, and I think they proved that on Monday night against the Giants. They're not just winning games; they're beating teams up,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that Drake May's having an MVP type season. I think that the hiring of Mike Vrabel has done them a lot of good, and that defense also has been pretty competitive. No, they're not as dominant as maybe some of the other teams like the Texans or Seahawks or Broncos have been on the defensive side of the ball, but they're still good enough to be in any game that they play this year for sure. And I think that they've had some good wins and they have some good momentum going. I still have the Rams at two. I think the Rams are all around just a great football team right now. I know they lost to the Panthers, but Matthew Stafford's had four interceptions all year. Two of them came in that game. I think that's kind of uncharacteristic from him. Um, so yeah, I'm not really too worried about them. And of course, they've already beat Seattle, so I have to put them above. But I do think Seattle will jump them later on in the year. And going on to three, obviously, I have the Seahawks. You kind of mentioned how good the defense has been, how good Mike McDonald has been for the Seahawks and this team. Um, JSN's having offensive player of the year type season right now. I think that Sam Darnold has been good enough for us. I think that he has to prove something later in the season when it comes to the big games. But other than that, I think the Seahawks have looked really good. I think that they have the best defense in the NFL. And yeah, I think when it comes playoff time, I think the Seahawks and the Rams are the two teams in the NFC that you do not want to play. And I think going on to my number four spot, I have the Bears, but I do want to say this: I have the Bears because I kind of have to put them there right now. With the win against the Eagles and just their record being number one or tied for first in the NFC for rankings, obviously. I think that you have to put the Bears there. You have to give them their respect right now. But I do think when it comes playoff time, I still think that Caleb Williams isn't quite there. I think the passing game still needs some help. But since how good their run game was, especially in that Philadelphia game, and how good they've been playing as of late, I had to put them there. And obviously, as you had mentioned, our 5 spot is different. With you going for the Broncos, I went with the Packers. And I will say this: I think that the Packers are one of those teams that drop games that they should win sometimes. Like um, they've lost to the Panthers this year. They lost to the Browns earlier in the year. Um, but I still think this is a really good football team. I think that Jordan Love's a good passer. I like their coach. Obviously, Micah Parsons has been a huge upgrade at that spot. And I think they have a good all around defense. I think this week we'll see a lot about the Bears and the Packers since they play this week. But yeah, that's my top 5.
Um, I mean, there's a lot of similarities there because there's some guys we have to put where they are, obviously. It's hard to leave those top 4 teams we have out of the top 5. And then obviously some shakeup there at the 5 spot. But I mean, I'm excited to drop those top 5 Tuesdays, especially if there's still some havoc in these NFL weeks. There's some big games coming up, so you could even see Eagles get a couple big wins, them sneaking back up in there. That all depends on who loses too. So, but I'm excited about this. I'm excited for your opinion, Connor. For like the past year, I've seen a lot about who is wide receiver university. There's a lot of speculation, like, oh, tight end universities, Iowa. Okay, sure, that's given. QB university, that's still, I think, a debate in its own. But wide receiver university is the one I've seen the most debate on. And the 2 teams I've seen the most debate is the LSU Tigers and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Especially the last few days, I've seen a lot of it. And I mean, Connor, there's some pretty big names on both sides that we both know, NFL wise, college football wise. I mean, kind of, what's your take there? Like, who do you has produced the most production in the NFL out of the wide receiver position between the 2 schools?
Um, I think especially right now, I think it's not even a debate because I think that the season that JSN is having and the growth that you're seeing from um, players like even Marvin Harrison Jr. has had a better year than he did last year, and I think the player that he can become and Terry McLaurin, and Chris Olave, I just think there's so many good OSU receivers that they are my wide receiver U. But I do see the argument in which like Jamar last year, like starting last year, I would say that Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson were kind of interchangeable at 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, both of them, Jamar Chase obviously having more, not like a down year. He's almost to 1,000 yards already, but down year compared to the season he had last year. With Joe Burrow obviously not being in as much this year with injury, that toe injury, and obviously Minnesota does not have a quarterback. So I just think right now it's definitely OSU. But I mean, I do see the argument because I can't sit here and not act like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase both aren't just amazing wide receivers in the league right now. And I think that they have the chance, honestly, like 5 years from now, to kind of shut up what's going on right now. Say JSN is a great receiver, but he isn't having the year that he's having this year. He kind of bounces out. Teams start to figure him out a little bit. And Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase go back to the season they had last year consistently. Then I think it's a discussion where LSU kind of gets that edge over OSU. But I definitely think Ohio State is wide receiver U right now.
You bring up a lot of good points there. And one receiver I like to mention, LSU's and Leak Neighbors too. I mean, obviously injured this year, but he was also an LSU Tiger. And then potentially guy Kyron Lacey had things not happen the way they happened. You're looking at him being a very good NFL wide receiver right now. But to me, I think to be considered like a positions university, you gotta have a longevity, and that's something that LSU doesn't have. They have the spottiness there with OBJ. Oh man, like when he was there, boom. Okay. Boom. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Okay. Boom, like neighbors. I think look at Ohio State's Garrett Wilson, Emeka Egbuka, Jackson Smith-Njigba. I mean, just longevity. I think I was looking at a stat. It was something like Ohio State's had like 17 wide receivers drafted in the top 3 rounds in the past like 10, 15 years. And big names too, like guys that are out winning offensive rookie of the year. And ever since Brian Hartline, this story's been big. Their offensive coordinator took the job at USF, and will no longer beat Ohio State. You saw a lot of wide receivers decommit from Ohio State. That shows like the impact he had. And I mean, he's done a lot of great things at Ohio State, and I think Ohio State has longevity that LSU doesn't have. Don't get me wrong, like Jamar, Justin Jefferson, Malik Neighbors, all OBJ, all great receivers, great, great, great. But I mean, year after year, it seems like we're seeing a new Ohio State wide receiver, and we're gonna keep seeing it. I mean, Jeremiah Smith in the next 2 years will be the best receiver in the NFL. He is NFL ready right now, but he cannot go to the NFL. And I mean, that Ohio State team right now has two NFL ready wide receivers just sitting on the sidelines. I mean, I think it's Tate Carnell is his name. Boom. I mean, a guy. So Ohio State's just has had the consistency for me to consider them a university. LSU's just had spurts. I think that's where you have to end the conversation. Um,
Yeah, and I think LSU too though. I do have to say this. I think that they have the chance to have the bigger upside of the players, especially with Neighbors now getting start, and we get full seasons out of both those other receivers I mentioned.
mm-hmm.
And obviously OBJ was great, won a Super Bowl. But one thing I do want to mention about like Jackson Smith and Jigba on his own, because obviously I know everything about him because he's one of my favorite players right now. I was going back and I was looking at kind of his journey through Ohio State. This is how good that wide receiving room has been the last like 5 years. JSN was the number 3 receiver
Mm-hmm.
when he joined OSU, and although he had the most yards at the end of the year over Garrett Wilson and why am I blanking? Who else? Oh, Chris Olave.
Oh, that's who I forgot. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So they just have so many good receivers. Even Michael Thomas. Like, I mean, they have so many good receivers. And like you said, you made a really good point about how they have the longevity. And I also say that they just have such a wide amount of receivers that have proven themselves in the NFL. Even Curtis Samuel for the Bills.
Yeah.
Like, there's players that you don't even think about when you think of OSU, right off the top of your head, because there's just so many of them. But like when you think of LSU, maybe me more because I'm an NFL guy, but I literally think of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase,
Mm-hmm.
like Justin Jefferson.
The
That's like the
2019
three
team.
players that come to my name. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you can't deny everything that, some of these LSU guys have done. I just think that OSU just has so many good receivers in the NFL, and it's going to continue, like you said.
Right. I mean, I'm excited now to see Malik Neighbors with a full season next year with a quarterback that they can rely on that's gonna hook on the ball. And we saw it in that Chargers game. He was getting all the targets he was producing before. Obviously, he popped his ACL and tore it. But I mean, I think Ohio
Even
State.
last year we
Yeah,
saw it.
yeah. So Malik Neighbors is gonna be a great receiver in the NFL. I remember when he was going through the draft, I really wanted him. I mean, that was my. I was like, man, Malik Neighbors. But I'm very glad we took Joe Alt. It worked out very well in our favor, I think. But I mean, yeah. I mean, if you talk about Jackson and Jigba too, yeah, don't forget how many yards he put up against Utah Utes in the 20. Oh man,
Yeah,
21,
15
2021,
catches,
2022 Rose
350
Bowl.
plus yards. Yeah, he's insane in that game.
I think it was
And the
it was a
crazy thing
record. It
is,
was a record, a single
mhm,
game record.
yeah, it's still the record. Yeah, and Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson were out for that game. So like it was just JSN they had to worry about too. So just maybe even imagine. I mean, obviously maybe he got some more targets, but I always look at it as maybe imagine if Utah had other receivers in that game too to
We had
watch.
Cam Rising to play. If Cam
Yeah,
Rising played that full game, or if we don't give up
yeah,
350 whatever yards passing, that's step one.
yeah. Receiving JSN, but yeah, JSN's
Oh
insane.
my
And I
goodness.
honestly think that like last year, JSN had a 200 plus yard game. I think JSN's one of those players when he's in his zone, like there's no stopping him. There's just those certain players, and like obviously, I think Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase also fall into that category too. But yeah, I mean, OSU definitely. Maybe right now, just because of JSN, the argument is there's just no side of it where I could see LSU like having an upside on them right now. I guess
No, I mean, a lot of people said JSN should be the wide receiver one in Seattle for years, and Tyler Lockett and DK both leave, and he shows why he should have been the wide receiver one in that core. But man, I think about that Rose Bowl game on like the monthly. It'll just like roll through my brain because I was so excited. We were fresh off Pac-12 championship, beat the Oregon Ducks. Like man, we're gonna go to the Rose Bowl, and we don't. We had Bryson Barnes at quarterback for the Rose Bowl, but man, did our uniforms look good, both games.
yeah,
The
that
rose
is
helmets look good. Those look good. And then the
yeah.
Penn
You
State
looked
game the
real
next
good
year.
getting cooked by JSN.
And the next year against Penn State, that was just I don't want to talk about that. Okay,
Oh, you want to talk about what's
real
going
quick.
on with Penn
Oh my
State right now?
goodness. For real quick. So obviously, I knew Kalani Sitake was not going to Penn State. BYU's his alma mater. He grew up in Provo. His religion. I mean, there was no chance unless they were offering him like $6 million more than BYU that he was going to leave this program. But two recruits on signing day, two. You are in the rankings of FCS schools, and you were ranked number 2 in the nation to start. Firing James Franklin will be a mistake, a major mistake, because he stole all of your recruits. They didn't go to Penn State for Penn State. They went for James Franklin. He's gone. They're all Virginia Tech now. Like, oh, they wanted the Penn State environment. Virginia Tech's got a better environment. Honestly, I mean, they went for a
They've
good
signed a
football
lot.
coach.
Yeah, obviously, I don't know as much about the recruiting process as what you might, because you're a college guy. But I was listening to some things about it, and man, Penn State's ranked like 153 in
Yeah,
the nation on like recruits right now, like horrible.
and they
Like
should be
and
in the
I
top
obviously as
20.
a coach, though. Yeah, that could get very bad for them quick. Like they could completely turn around what Penn State football is right now, because of this. So.
Well, and they don't have a head coach still. What's going to end up happening is they're going to get a worse coach than what they started with. They fired James Franklin thinking this big mind, great name was going to come into Penn State because they're Penn State. And now they're going to get some mid-level coach. And that program's going to go on the downfall. You know, a program's going to go up, Virginia Tech. And all props to James Franklin. But I bet a lot of players transfer out of Penn State this year. And I will see very many people transferring in. Penn State is a dumpster fire right now, and it needs to be figured out soon, or else you're looking at a few years of just poverty and getting smacked around week in and week out.
Yeah, this kind of goes along with Penn State, but it kind of changes the what we're talking about a little bit right here. I saw a lot of people saying that with Tomlin kind of having the little playoff success, and obviously last week Pittsburgh chanting "Fire Tomlin." Could you ever see Mike Tomlin taking the job at Penn State this year if he decided to leave Pittsburgh?
Um, oh man, I don't know if I'd offer him the job because at that point you're settling for mediocrity. I mean, how sure he goes over 500 in how many seasons, but how many seasons has he been a first round exit in the playoffs? How many seasons has he not made the playoffs with that? I mean, if you hire Mike Tomlin, he doesn't know how to recruit in college football nowadays. I mean, the college football realm and the NFL realm are so much different. That's where you see college football coaches don't do well in an NFL locker room because they don't. That's a complete atmosphere. Instead of wanting like recruiting kids and saying, "Hey, you'll come play for us. I'm gonna make you a star." You're gonna go up and say, I'm gonna make you a star. I'm already a star. Pay me more money." I mean, that's why
Yeah, that
college coaches lose the locker room like that.
yeah, that's the one argument that I had again, like for it too, is like, or against it, I guess, is like Mike Tomlin. He already has a job in the NFL. Why is he gonna take a job in the NFL to leave to go to a college team to go recruit something that he isn't like that he doesn't know how to do? He isn't part of right now. And I think I think he's a Steeler guy either way. The only like thing with Mike Tomlin is first off, I'm gonna make my opinion on it very clear. I don't think that they should trade Mike Tomlin, or not trade, fire him. I think that would be a horrible mistake. I think that, yes, obviously you bring up the playoff success or whatever, but also at the same time, who are you gonna go get if you're Pittsburgh right now? Like, coach
I
wise.
feel like
I
there's
I
a
think
fair amount of offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators that would suit a role with the Steelers nicely. Cliff Kingsbury, I think, could have another shot as a head coach. He's doing great things for that Commanders offense right now.
I just don't think that it's Mike Tomlin that's the issue right now. I
That's fair.
like with the quarterback that he has had. Like obviously last year he went into Russell Wilson being the quarterback, and we know the player that he's kind of came into at this part of his career. This year he's going to have Aaron Rodgers. I still don't think they'll win a playoff game if they even get to play a playoff game this year. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so like that's the thing is like I don't know that I think sometimes especially with a coach that's won you Super Bowls, who's brought you a lot of success. Teams are maybe a little too quick, especially fans are maybe a little too quick to kind of not look at the whole situation, and I think that would be a mistake in that. And also like I could see Tomlin going and like coaching someone like the Raiders, and I could see him switching their whole like the Raiders, like he would change who they are. He would give them some identity, bring back, what I mean? So like I think the Steelers should keep Tomlin right now, and I definitely don't think he should take the Penn State job if he gets offered that job.
Well, you look at Bill Belichick's success at UNC Chapel Hill. I mean, the college football world is so much different. I don't care how good of a coach you are in the NFL. If you can't recruit, it's done. I never thought Bill Belichick could recruit just because he's Bill Belichick, but he can't. And he won, what, like 2-3 games this year at UNC. So, I mean, the realm is so much different. And there's a really great documentary about Nick Saban from when he went from the Miami Dolphins to the Alabama Crimson Tide. He was getting interviewed saying like, I will not be the next head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. And his wife came on and said like I wasn't happy in the NFL because it's so much different. As a college football wife, you're helping with the boosters, the alumni, the donations. I mean, you're helping out with the dinners, everything, recruiting. In the NFL, you kind of sit there. So I mean, there like all those things. You're dealing with the boosters, the alumni, you people on your back 24/7. I mean, the governor in a lot of senses, your athletic director. It's a school system. It's not an organization. It's a school. And recruiting, you have to have a special mind to recruit. And I think especially nowadays, if you haven't been a recruiter, if you haven't went and recruited in the past, you're definitely not going to be able to do it now.
Yeah, and I think that's just even shown by well like the way that these players are going too. Like all the people that were in on Old Miss as soon as the coach left. Like the
Yeah.
coach position, and like that decommitted. So like the coaching position in college football, I think honestly, means a lot. I don't want to say a lot more, but it kind of does. It
Mm-hmm.
does mean a lot more because these are the guys that are actually building the foundation of the team, going out there and recruiting some of the players, your biggest players. So uh, yeah, for sure. I think it's a big change, especially when you look at the difference between college and NFL level right now with recruiting and just how the whole job is as a whole.
Right, and I mean we've seen it so much in this college football season of a coach leaving, a coach going somewhere else, and players decommitting, players leaving. Brian Hartline took the job at USF, and wide receivers who were 5 stars that were committed to Ohio State went and committed elsewhere because they didn't think the wide receiver room was going to be that good. They thought they were going to get more play time and more money elsewhere. Um, you look at obviously Lane Kiffin. He left and players decommitted. Big one, James Franklin flipped almost the entire Penn State class to Virginia Tech. Um, so I mean, the coach is huge. If they don't think they're going to succeed with the coach, like a lot of things that they're going to ask in a visit is, okay, like what does the tight end room look like? Okay, who's my tight end coach? That's such a big factor. Right? They want someone who they know is going to be a good coach. That's why players want to play for Lane Kiffin. That's why players want to play in Utah for Kyle Whittingham or Kalani Sitake. Those are established good coaches, and it makes me nervous for when Kyle Whittingham does call it a career, whether it's this year, whether it's next. What our recruiting classes look like because unless they've started implementing in the visits now that hey, Kyle Whittingham's going to be done, like this Morgan Scalley, like that's a good thing about Utah is that the next guy is already in line. Morgan Scalley, the second Whittingham retires, gets the keys to the office. There's no head coach search. So I think that does a lot of good. Maybe Morgan Scalley is right there on those visits. saying, hey, like this will be my program in whether it's tomorrow, whether it's in a year. And the Utes pulled one of their best classes of all time. We got our number one recruit we've ever had, Kelvin Obote, a 5-star offensive lineman from Fruitland, Idaho. And then we flipped a recruit from Tennessee to Utah last minute. The number one recruit in the state of Utah flipped from Tennessee to Utah after a last minute push. So a great class by Utah. I mean, just phenomenal. But the recruiting realm is so much different than it used to be. And an NFL coach would have a lot of trouble if they had never done it before, or if they don't have ties with it to go in right now and recruit in the college football realm. That's just the bottom line. So,
Yeah. Do you have anything else, or is that the pod?
um, honestly, I'm trying to think. I mean, early National Signing Day for college was yesterday. A lot of great recruits. Obviously, the Utes, like I said, pulled in a great class. I mean, I'm super excited. We got some good talent coming in, replacing a lot of the holes in the O line we're gonna hit. And then obviously the winter transfer portal. I mean, at this time last year, we were looking at who our next QB was gonna be. And at this time last year, in the month, we already had Devin Dampier. So after this bowl game, before the bowl game, we'll find out on Sunday what bowl game we get. We're looking at our next pair of Utes. Like, who's going to be the face of this offense next year? Is it Devin Dampier? Is it Bird Ficklin? Does Bird Ficklin transfer? Do we get a new superstar running back? Do we get a new superstar linebacker? So a lot of questions to be asked. But is Kyle Whittingham done after this year? So it'll be a fun offseason for the Utes. But obviously, we're not going to get a playoff spot with where we're at right now at 15. Should get a fun bowl game. If BYU loses, we could potentially have a BYU Utah Alma Bowl. Not thinking we're gonna get it. I'm hoping the Vegas Bowl on New Year's Eve. But this is gonna be a fun off season for the Utes. I'm really excited to kind of see how it all unfolds, especially in the transfer portal because it's such a big part of college football. And that is so.
Yeah, I think the youths. It's gonna be very excited to watch them next year. Now I'm kind of in it, so I
Mhm.
get to see like their whole. Now that I got to see the end of this season, it'll be fun to see kind of how my first year of like actually kind of being more in tune to the college scene and seeing how that all goes down going into next year and kind of seeing um, the change in the recruit or the seniors that are going to get drafted this year compared to um, the new recruits that they're going to get next year. Maybe real quick before we sign out on the pod, I thought I would do a little talk about the Dallas Mavericks because they're on
Yep.
their first 3-game win streak of the year. Um, Last night, the Dallas Mavericks took down the Miami Heat, winning 118 to 108. One thing that I just want to talk about real quick is I am very impressed with the development of Cooper Flag, and I think the team is heading in the right direction. I don't think this year we're contenders by any means. I don't want to make that said, but I am very excited to see what this team looks like, especially Cooper Flag when he gets Kyrie Irving back. Uh, Ryan Nemhard last night, who the Mavs have on a 2-way contract, just looked great again. He had 15 assists. Just he's been balling out. The way he was cooking up on some of those plays, it looked like a little mini Kyrie. And obviously, his brother, obviously, has been a great addition for that Indy team. So I'm very excited about what Ryan Nemhard has to offer. 15 points, 13 assists last night for Nemhard. AD coming back from the injury that he's missed like the first 13 games of the year. It felt like he had 17 points and 17 rebounds. And obviously, Cooper Flag, another 20-point game, 22 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 9 for 15 from the floor. Very excited about what he has had to offer. Last night, he had 3 possessions to end the game pretty much, where he scored 3 buckets in a row to end the game. And 4 nights ago, he had his first 35-point game, his career high against the LA Clippers. And I just think the way that he's developing and the Mavs aren't trying to force him at this point guard position anymore. He's kind of getting to play his position at the 3-4. And man, the way he impacts the game on the defensive side of the ball, it's just one of those things that you're never going to see on the box score. But he has he has been the guy for the Dallas Mavericks. And last night I was looking at it and I was kind of watching, obviously watching the game, and I was like, the Dallas Mavericks are really being ran by an 18-year-old right now. Like he
Yeah,
is our guy when it comes down to us needing a bucket. Like you would think going into the season, that still might be AD, that might be Clay, that might be, and Clay's been playing really good ball too. He's been averaging like 15 points the last couple weeks. But what I'm trying to say is like you go into this end game situation, you're giving the ball to Cooper Flag, and he has been working one on one. He's been doing it very efficiently, and yeah, so I'm really excited about the way this Mavs team is kind of going. I don't think that they might not even make the playoffs this year, but it will be very interesting to see if they can continue to keep stacking some wins. We play the Thunder tomorrow, uh, which is probably going to be a loss because the Thunder beat everyone this year.
mm-hmm.
They've only had one loss on the season, but yeah, I'm just very excited to see kind of like the growth and keep watching Cooper Flag play this year. Because some people kind of forget. I've noticed a lot of Mavs fans, especially, have also kind of like forgot like Luka wasn't the player he is today his rookie year, and Cooper Flag is already showing like all these signs of him turning into a superstar. Um, so yeah, it's been awesome. Obviously, Cooper Flag is the youngest player now to ever score 35 points in a game, and he is the second player in NBA history to have three consecutive 20-point games. Obviously, the first one was LeBron James. So, yeah, I've been very very excited with the way this Mavs team is going. But that's really I think I have all for the pod today. Thank you guys so much for listening. We love having you guys listen to our podcasts. I hope that you enjoyed. Uh, let's have a good week in the NFL. It starts off tonight with Detroit and Dallas. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that you'll hear a lot of sure you'll hear like a clip of something from us about that game because that has a lot for the game also.
Yeah, and just real quick, Connor. Big 12 awards came out today. Just real quick, congratulations, Spencer Fano, Big 12 Lineman of the Year, and then Devin Ampier, the Big 12 Newcomer of the Year. And then just real quick, I don't like BYU, but Cloney Stocky, Coach of the Year, LJ Martin, Offensive Player of the Year, and Bear Bachmeyer, Freshman of the Year, Offensive Freshman of the Year for the BYU Cougars. So I mean, the Big 12 student athlete is going to run through Utah, the state of Utah. So big congrats to these guys. I'm definitely going to miss Spencer Fano on the line, but he should have a lot of success in the NFL, and then excited to see what Devin Dampier does next year for this Utes team. But yeah, like I said, Connor said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We have a lot of fun doing this, especially these last few days. The Instagram posts, the collaborations we've done, the Instagram posts, the trying out some new content on the TikTok has been a lot of fun. So we'll get some clips out for you guys. Hope you guys tune in again. We'll probably be out at least one more of these by the end of the week. Maybe talk about the NFL slate, kind of like our picks, whether it's after college ball playoff selection show, whatever it might be. But you guys should hear from us again. But with that being said, I think we're out of here. Signing out. Have a good night, everybody, and then we'll see you guys soon.